Hi everyone, welcome back to Rabbi's Reflection. I'm glad that you're joining with me today. We'll be continuing in our study of My Grandfather's Blessings by Dr. Naomi Remen, and today reading the story Lineage. Stay with us as we read through the story and then offer some reflections. Service is not the attribute of any one religion any more than holiness is. Many of those who serve life have no formal religion, while others follow any one of the many religious traditions on the face of this earth. All are a blessing to life. When my mother was about 60, one of her nephews was ordained as a priest. Her 4 brothers had all married Christian women, and I was raised among half a dozen first cousins who were devoutly Catholic, among them the children of my Aunt Mary, who was a former nun. I have many memories of visiting my cousins at the Mary Knoll Convent in Upper New York State, where they spent the summers playing baseball with them and the younger sisters and novitiates. I also remember accompanying my mother to my cousin's ordination shortly after I graduated from medical school. The High Mass and the ritual, which went on for more than 2 hours, were entirely in Latin. At one point in the service, my cousin and the other young men with him genuflected and lay completely prone on the floor before the cross on the high altar. I stole looks at my mother, the granddaughter, grandniece, and daughter of Orthodox rabbis. She had been raised in a ghetto in Russia. At times during her adolescence, her face had been blackened and her hair cut short to make her unattractive to the young Cossack soldiers. She had escaped Russia with her family as a girl just before the first of the pogroms and had witnessed, even personally, encountered many forms of anti-Semitic treatment in her lifetime. Her face was unreadable. I found myself wondering what could possibly be going through her mind. Later, as we left the church, I asked her what she had thought of the whole thing. She had smiled with genuine pleasure. Isn't it wonderful that in this day and age a young man would choose to dedicate his life to serving God? She told me. My father would have been so proud. We walked on a few steps in silence, and then she looked at me. And you too, she said. It must be in our blood. I looked at her, puzzled, but she had no more to say. Now that I am almost as old as she was then, I think I understand. There are many ways to befriend the movement toward wholeness in others. All of them are holy. This is a beautiful and short story from Dr. Remen that has such beautiful themes in it. As she titles it, Lineage, a sense of connection to family, even when they might be distant, and doing something that doesn't necessarily fit into the form that you're familiar with. Perhaps a sense of feeling not just connected, but at a deeper level, appreciation of difference. We could very well forgive Dr. Remen's mother if she were angry or she were disappointed that her nephew was going to be ordained as a Catholic priest. That would make sense to us. We could forgive her as a woman who grew up in Russia and experienced a serious amount of anti-Semitism at the hands of people that weren't Jewish. We could very well forgive her anger or disappointment at her brothers marrying people outside of their faith, so much so that those children, her nephew, becomes an ordained Catholic priest. But that's not the case. When Dr. Remen checks in with her mother after the service, she feels good about it. She's happy about it. She says, wow, look, someone else doing holy things. My father, Dr. Remen's mother says, right? Dr. Remen's grandfather, this Orthodox rabbi would have been so proud. And I also don't think we should kind of push away this story and say, that's just Dr. Remen's mother. That's really just a unique person. I think there's something really beautiful and really, really demanding of each of us. Can we see the goodness and the holiness in someone who is different than us? And a deeper level, can we see the goodness and the holiness in someone who is so intimate and close to us, and yet who is so different than us? I think at one level, it's easy to see something foreign and maybe at first be distanced from it, maybe at first not really understand it, but then come to appreciate it for its own thing. Okay, this is something far away or something that I'm totally not related to. While at first I might have found it strange, I now have come to appreciate it. But it doesn't have anything really to do with me. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't have a say in who I am. But I think it's even harder when someone is different than you, when they're just a part of your family. When you consider them to have an intimate and close relationship with you, that makes it even harder. I'm just thinking, for example, of how our relationships might be with our children. And if our children decide to live or choose different things than we might have wanted for them. Right? Just an example. But for Dr. Remen's mother to be supportive of her nephew is really something amazing and something really instructive for us. What are the ways that we can support and love and find connection with people, not just who are different than us, but those who are most intimate and most close to us that are different from us as well. All right, well, I hope you have a good day, a good week, and I will see you soon.